Welcome everyone to this evening's webinar on practical tips in helping someone with an eating disorder. And our presenters today are Leslie Kaliko, Anita Summers, and Colette West. And I'll leave them to do their introductions and then we can begin the webinar.
Okay, well, I'll go first. So my name's Leslie Kaliko. I'm an integrative psychotherapist and I've been working with eating disorders for the last 5 years or so. So most of my experience is from an inpatient psychiatric unit, but I also work with eating disorders privately.
I'm Anita Summers, and I'm a systemic family therapist. I've been working in the field of eating disorders off and on since 2004. I've worked in an inpatient unit. I ran an intensive outpatient program for individuals struggling with eating disorders in California. And now I'm working in the eating disorder psychologist and in private practice.
Hi, I'm Colette West. I'm an eating disorder dietitian. I have worked in an inpatient unit looking after young people and young adults with eating disorders. I currently work for the NHS where I do eating disorder dietetic input in the community.
Thanks. And I'm Dr. Bev Murray, and I'm the founder of the Eating Disorder Psychologist. And I've worked for many years in eating disorders as well as in addictions, and now currently working solely in private practice. So if you want to go ahead.
Fantastic. So like Bev said, today's eating disorder is practical tips in helping someone. Today's webinar, is practical tips in helping someone with an eating disorder. So we'll be covering several topics today. We'll be looking at body image, self-harm and how to help as a parent and a carer. We'll also look at some tips to manage distress and to help emotional regulation. And then Colette will be talking about practical strategies for supporting meals and how to have conversations with your child around food. So that's briefly some of the topics we'll be talking about today. So the first one is body image. So body image is defined as how we think and feel about our body and how we believe others see us. So someone with an eating disorder, be it anorexia or binge eating disorder or bulimia, will most likely have a disturbed and quite negative body image. So somebody suffering with anorexia might be quite emaciated or might be visibly underweight, but they might see themselves as grossly overweight. And somebody who's in a larger body might struggle with a negative body image as well, and being in a larger body and the fat phobia associated with that. So body image work is something that will tend to happen in therapy, but it's an ongoing process that takes time to change. And it can be really frustrating for a parent to have to listen to their child and see their child struggling with their body image, especially if you're not seeing the same things that they're seeing. And especially if you have a child who's really underweight and they're talking about feeling overweight and feeling huge in their body, it can be really confusing and frustrating for a parent to manage that. But there are some things that you can do to help. So in this next slide, so consider how you refer to yours and other people's bodies around your child. So often we have all internalized that diet culture, and we might say things about food or body without even an awareness that this might be triggering for somebody with an eating disorder. So, for example, you might see food packages with guilt-free or perhaps, equating exercise in a certain amount with being able to earn your food. So these sorts of things are kind of inherent in our everyday speech, but they can actually be really triggering for somebody who's suffering with an eating disorder. So one of the ways that you can help is just to kind of monitor your language and your thoughts around bodies and perhaps refrain from commenting on anybody's body or your own. So you can also focus on aspects of your child that are unrelated to their physical appearance. So they might be really caught up with how they look and feel in their body whilst they're suffering with an eating disorder. And So one of the ways is to point out aspects of them that are unrelated to how they look. So it could be how they achieve, it could be something that they're really good at, it could be their intelligence. So just shifting the focus from the physical to something different. Another tip would be to listen to them and their body image concerns, but remind them that they are more than just a body. When somebody's suffering with an eating disorder, they can become so preoccupied with their body. And yes, this is something that they will work through in therapy, hopefully. But as your parent and a carer, I think it's important to remind them that actually they might have quite a warped view of their body because of their eating disorder, and that actually they're more than their body. So you could also help them think about the ways and things that their body that can do that are unrelated to their physical outwardly appearance.